So as some of you may know, the Google Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro just came out, but it's time to talk about its predecessor, the Google Pixel 5. And it's been a minute since we talked about this, specific Android phone. And last year I was a fan of it, and still I'm a fan of it too. But looking at the Pixel 6s, I'm going to tell you, it's really no competition. The 6s are much better than the 5s. So I'd recommend upgrading to the 6 if you have it, or if you don't have either one of these, just go straight for the Pixel 6 in my opinion. It's going to definitely be the much better phone. Now with the Pixel 5, what I will tell you is that this phone still holds up pretty well. I think it's a great phone overall, and there's really not that much to hate on it. Last year it was a great phone. This year it's still a great phone. It's definitely not competing, I think, with the iPhone 13s or the Pixel 6 anymore, but for a 2020 budget tier kind of phone, it's really not a bad option. On the front, a 6-inch OLED panel and that 90Hz panel too. I mean, that was one of my favorite things about this phone. The panel, although it's not perfect, it still is a pretty good looking panel, and I think it's actually a pretty good thing. I don't really have that much to hate on it. You have USB Type-C on the bottom, and you do have this aluminum back, which I thought was kind of a little bit different feeling. It has this like matte type of texture on it, and I wasn't a fan of it. I still am not a fan of it, but you do have that fingerprint sensor back there, and overall, I don't want to say this phone feels like a cheap phone, because it doesn't. It feels pretty good, but when I just compared it to my Galaxy S20 last year, I just felt like those phones felt better. But now with the S21, I feel like this phone feels a little bit better, which is so funny. Now we also had this beautiful camera setup on this thing that still holds up. And here's the thing, Pixels were always known for their cameras, and Google kind of started, flopping a little bit with the Pixel 4, but now with the Pixel 6, they kind of redeemed themselves, and the Pixel 5 was definitely a good camera. It really wasn't like blowing anyone out, like it didn't really blow me out to be honest, but it did a pretty good job. You have the wide angle lens and ultra wide sensor. You have 4K at 60 on the back, which is always good. On the front, you only have a 1080p sensor, and I wasn't a really big fan of this specific camera on the front, but I'm not really a huge fan of even the Pixel 6 camera on the front either, to be honest. The 6 Pro is better, but this one, I feel like Google could have done a better job considering their main focus around these phones is the camera, but I think even now it's still not bad, and I think it's, the overall camera setup, I would say it's an overall positive thing, and I would definitely say if you need to pick up a phone, this is not a bad camera for sure. Now software wise, this is obviously one of the best things about picking up a Google Pixel. You can easily pick up this phone this time around and have a very solid performing phone with it in terms of software. And that's one of my favorite things, with the specific Pixel lineup. You don't have to go and, wait until months and months until the software version comes out. Once there's an update available, Google will go ahead and send it out to you. And like I mentioned, that's one of my favorite things about this phone. So the software, it's stock, it has a lot of capability, and it's easily one of my favorite things about this phone for sure. And the performance, I mean, it's still pretty good. It has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G chipset, and you can get up to 8 gigs of RAM on this thing, which it actually comes standard with. And like I mentioned, that's a lot of RAM to have on a device like this. There's only one model of it, but it's still a lot of RAM. And from anything that I've done with it, including comparing it to my Pixel 6, it's been a very good ride. And I do think if you're somebody who wants to just use their phone and pretty much move on with their life, you can't really go wrong with the Google Pixel 5. It's a solid experience, and I do think it's definitely worth it at the end of the day. And battery life has been pretty good too. Still 4080 mAh battery. My battery hasn't degraded that much. I think it's at like 99%, which is still pretty good. So again, I will tell you, if you have an Android phone, you can't really go wrong with the Pixel 5. The Pixel 5 is still good, but the Pixel 6 is just such a better phone than the Pixel 5 that I would just recommend going straight to that one. Even if you have a Pixel 5, I would recommend looking into those phones, because you're definitely going to be getting a little bit of a better, device from those devices than this one in my opinion. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.